Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to compare the pigments Perylene Maroon and Pyrrole Crimson by swatching them out and then mixing them with a few colors. On the left we have Perylene Maroon, which is a transparent pigment made with PR179, and it is a deep maroon color, but it does have a huge drying shift. On the right, we have Pyrrole Crimson, which is a semi-transparent pigment made with PR264, and it is a deep crimson color that is sometimes used as a light fast alternative to Alizarin crimson. Before I mix these pigments with other colors, I'd like to highlight some differences between them. We can see that the Perylene Maroon is browner and duller compared to the Pyrrole Crimson, and because the Pyrrole Crimson is brighter and more of a crimson hue, it's a better choice for mixing brighter purples and pink colors. And the colors that I'll use to mix these two pigments with are based on the CMY color system, in addition to a couple earth tones and a black pigment. The color that I'll be using for my yellow pigment is lemon yellow, or Hansa Yellow Light, which is PY3. When we mix the lemon yellow with the Perylene Maroon, we'll get slightly dulled down oranges because the Perylene Maroon is a relatively dull color. And because the Pyrrole Crimson is brighter than the lemon yellow, we'll see brighter mixes when we mix these two colors together compared to when I mix the lemon yellow with the Perylene Maroon. So what you'll see is that I mixed the Perylene Maroon with the lemon yellow again because I wanted to get deeper mixes with those two colors. The next color that I used for mixing is yellow ochre, which is a common choice for a yellow earth pigment. Because the yellow ochre is a dulled yellow color, the mixes with Perylene Maroon and yellow ochre will also be relatively dull, and they should be duller compared to the lemon yellow mixes. And like with what happened with the lemon yellow, the mixes with Pyrrole Crimson will be brighter when mixed with yellow ochre compared to the Perylene Maroon ones. But because yellow ochre is a somewhat dull color, the mixes will be more subdued when these colors are mixed together. The third color that I'll be using for mixing is Quinacridone Pink, which is made with PV42, and this is a less common alternative to Quinacridone Rose. So when we mix the Perylene Maroon with the Quinacridone Pink, we get some mixes that are rosy or crimson, but slightly more muted compared to the PV42. So when we mix the Pyrrole Crimson with the Quinacridone Pink, we get similar mixes, but they are more intense as Pyrrole Crimson is closer to magenta and it is a brighter color compared to Perylene Maroon. The next color that I'll be using for this video is French Ultramarine, which is my choice for blue. And in this case, I swatched the mixes before I swatched the original pigment. So when we mix Perylene Maroon with French Ultramarine, we get pretty dull mixes as Perylene Maroon is a dull color and it doesn't reflect much blue light, so the purple mixes are going to be pretty dull. Compared to the Perylene Maroon, we see brighter purple mixes in the Pyrrole Crimson and French Ultramarine, and this is because Pyrrole Crimson is brighter than Perylene Maroon and it's closer to magenta, but because Pyrrole Crimson is not as bright as a magenta or as purplish, it will still make relatively dull mixes. So the next color I'll be using is Phthalo Blue Green shade, and this is my choice of cyan for this video. So when we mix the Perylene Maroon with Phthalo Blue Green shade, we get pretty dull, dark grayish mixes. So Perylene Maroon would be a great mixing complement with Phthalo Blue. So when we mix the Pyrrole Crimson with Phthalo Blue, we do get duller mixes compared to the French Ultramarine, but we do see a slight purplish cast as there is some blue light that is reflected in the Pyrrole Crimson. My choice of green for this video is Phthalo Green Blue shade or PG7. So when we mix phthalo green with Perylene Maroon, we see something that's kind of like the phthalo blue mixes, but the colors are a little bit brownish when you mix it closer to Perylene Maroon. When we mix Pyrrole Crimson with Phthalo Green, we'll get a really good neutralized pair. As you can see, we get these grayish black colors. The next color that I'll be mixing with is Burnt Umber, which is my choice for a brown pigment, as this is the only brown color I have on my palette. So when we mix the Perylene Maroon with Burnt Umber, we'll get nice deep terracotta hues. Compared to the mixes with Perylene Maroon, the Burnt Umber mixed with Pyrrole Crimson will make slightly paler colors because the Perylene Maroon is a deeper color. Finally, the last color that I'll be using for this video is Ivory Black or PBK9. So when we mix Perylene Maroon with Ivory Black, we'll get really, really dark maroon colors. So compared to the mixes with Perylene Maroon, the mixes with Ivory Black and Pyrrole Crimson will have a broader value range as the Pyrrole Crimson is a little bit paler, and because Perylene Maroon is more brownish, the mixes that we have with Pyrrole Crimson will be a little bit closer to the magenta side. So here are the original swatches of Perylene Maroon and Pyrrole Crimson. Overall, I'd say these colors are pretty different, and you can have both on your palette as they fill different niches. The Perylene Maroon to me is a great choice for something like a red earth color, and the Pyrrole Crimson is a good alternative to the fugitive Alizarin Crimson. I'm curious to hear what your opinions are on these colors, and I hope you found this video useful.